Vigilante Williamson here on the 31st episode of the Culture Crime Fighters. And anything that can go wrong has gone wrong, at least on my end. But I'm joined, thank God, by none other than the co-host with the most, Matt from Foulball Productions.
Yo, what is up? What's happening, Vigilante Williamson?
Not much. Just being terrible at communication and terrible at technology, apparently. So just just fucking up my YouTube career. Just another day. How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Doing pretty good. Ready to talk some culture crime, hang out, shoot the shit, say hello to this chat. Ascension Dildo's new avatar is fucking with my head.
Yeah, I'm so used to the one avatar.
Yeah.
You can buzz. Hell, pat ass.
Hey, it's not a poopus.
So the poop was cute. It's been a minute. The
Good
boomer is strong. The everything is strong. The new job situation is kind of ridiculous, but that's what you get. Bumps
in the road with life.
Yeah. I mean, it's good and bad, so it's not like it's terrible. It's just the scheduling is awkward. Since you did though, but Biden didn't tell us black people can't use the internet. Well, it has. Oh boy, it's not that I can't use the internet, it's that the internet doesn't want to use my microphone. So I'm on my iPad, so if I have any technical issues or I accidentally dox myself immediately, you'll know why. So that's actually I'm gonna turn this to the side so you don't see me if I do.
So we apologize, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, if you want polish, go watch CNN.
Yeah, they're polished.
They're polished.
A bunch of bullshit. They're very polished.
They're very polished, very professional. Everything. Although, you know what? I swear, over the pandemic, I'm like, God, so many people are fucking lazy. Like, I'd be like catching like clips of like Sports Center or like whatever news media, and I'm like, I have a better setup than this person who's on television.
Oh, like, yeah.
I'm like, they're like on, they're using like a microphone from like Apple headphones. I'm like, what do you, just buy a mic, you cheap fuck. What are you doing? This is ESPN. Like, what do you?
Yeah.
The lack of like professionalism.
For you $100 interface or $100 USB mic. They couldn't do that for you guys just to make sure you're good.
Or you just as a professional can't buy a blue Yeti.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
You're making like $300,000 a year minimum.
You gotta be. You gotta be. And even if you're not, this is your brand. You're like a reporter or whatever, and I'm just looking at you like, what a joke.
Yeah. And
badass.
I do have ID. So yeah.
Really? Now I thought it was difficult for minorities to acquire IDs. Now I didn't realize that.
I've had an ID for 16 years. So this actually predates the Obama. And I know
I can't. That's so confusing. Because I thought the narrative is did I lose you, Vig? Did we lose Vigilante Williamson? Oh shit. Is it me?
Black people existed before?
There we go. You just popped back in.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, no, you just disappeared.
Okay, am I here? Am I in? Am I still here?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. This is a cursed stream, everyone. So we're all going to have tons of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An auspicious start.
So, auspicious start. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want this to get worse, but I'm worried. But we do have.
We'll do our best. Oh, shit! We lost him again. Oh no, Vigilante Williamson. Can't hear you, buddy. Cannot hear you. Uh-oh. Well, I guess it's just me. I don't know. Sorry, Vidge. I don't know. Sorry, everybody. Apologies for all this technical difficulties. I'm not sure what happened. Oh, got twice the Vigilante.
What the fuck?
Oh, yeah, you're coming in and out. Archer has been slow this season. Okay, Decepticon King.
Oh,
Archer's one of those shows that I don't know, like it's funny, it's fun. I don't know how much I loved it. Like I really enjoyed the first season, and I think it was, I don't know, a lot of shows like I feel like they're more grounded when they first start, and I know it's a silly thing to say about a show like Archer, but it just starts to get weird. Like what was the girl in The Office's name? The one who was like the secretary who likes to be choked. I forgot her name, but
I remember Pam. I haven't watched Archer in like years.
Yeah, it was the
fat one though.
Yeah, but then they all of a sudden she became really rich. She was like a railroad heiress or something like that, and you're like, that's a total contradiction to the character you wrote. Like they just invented that for fun. I don't know. It's just like one of those things where I'm like, it's like it's fun, but it just got really. Barry becomes like a robot. I was like, I kind of liked when this was just sort of like a grounded, kind of weird spy parody, and now you're just like, what is? I don't even know what's happening anymore. Cheryl, that's right.
Cheryl, yeah, Cheryl. Thank you.
All secretaries like to be choked, says Sinjin Dodo.
Oh,
that's good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah, and shout out to who knew the song must flow. One of the first 50 subs.
Hell,
appreciate you being here. OG.
Yeah, well, we've had you consistently speaking for a few minutes here, so I'm gonna go ahead and hope that we're good.
You and me both. I think we're okay.
Okay.
Very okay.
Right on.
All right.
All right.
So what did you want to talk about first?
Well, there's quite a few things. Pat S. was wondering if we were going to talk about missing white women. He did.
Missing white women. Oh.
About missing annoying white women. I mean, she's dead. Don't call her annoying. Come on.
Jeez. I literally just because I only tangentially heard about the story, and because I don't pay attention to news, I don't watch mainstream media. I literally just found out the story, earlier.
Well, it's like one of those things. Like the media just loves a missing white woman. Like they just love that story.
Me? Are you? Okay.
What?
Oh, am I back?
Yeah.
I didn't know because it keeps dropping out on my end. This is the worst thing ever, and it's killing me.
Sucks.
Oh man. I'm not as well versed on the story as everyone else, and who knows how long my fucking stream is gonna last.
I'm not sure, but yeah. Anyway, I don't know. It's like one of those things where I guess it's like this girl was a van life vlogger, and her parents hadn't heard from her for a little while. There was like some police interaction, and then all of a sudden, the guy, her boyfriend or fiance, just appears in Florida and gets a lawyer immediately, and he appeared without her. And she's missing, and he wouldn't speak to anyone. He wouldn't speak to the family, wouldn't answer any questions. And then all this, it became like an internet phenomenon. It's weird though. It's one of those things. It's like Patrice O'Neal had a great bit about this years ago about how much the media just loves missing white women. And it's there is kind of something to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It becomes a fascination. There's this thing, I don't know. I don't know how to put my finger on it, but they every once in a while there's one of these stories, and everybody just gets so caught up in it. But it's it's usually a cute white girl.
Well, so here's the thing: cute white girls are the guys of this society and have been for quite some time.
The what of the society?
The guys.
Gods. They are the most worshipped for sure.
The Bohemian Grove Owls of Earth is a cute white woman. So like when one of them goes missing, it's like, oh man, a Bohemian Owl's missing. What do we do? And so the world just sort of freaks out. And that's why everything is geared towards white women. Everything that could possibly exist in society. Football is geared towards what do white women think about it? Gangster rap, what do white women think about this? They'll be the ones who will prove who are the rappers from now on. Everything in culture is about white women. So one is missing.
You know, it's not a terrible point because it's like, who was it? It was like Tipper Gore was the one in the 90s who was all like anti-gangster rap and wanted to get those parental warning labels on rap records. And then, there is just something, and like the entitlement, I mean, you have all the Karens and stuff like that. There's just something about this society that teaches white women that they are like the most important people on the planet. Mm-hmm. And that's weird though, because it's not just the personal entitlement. Like there is a fascination, like when one of them goes missing. Like this story is not just the media perpetuating it. There's like all these internet like sleuths, like internet detectives who are as invested in this story as as it seems like their family, and it's like this because it's like a valuable commodity. Is a pretty white girl, I guess.
Yeah, and actually, Joy Reid's reaction is the only thing that gave me any tip to this whole story was happening. Because she kind of, I guess, said something. I didn't even read
who the hell is Joy Reid? I don't even know who that is. She's
a strong black woman who works for CNN. So I mean, you can fill in the rest.
She looks like a politician.
She probably is. I know she works for CNN, and I know she's like a race baiter. And I think she might have been one of the ones that went at Nicki Minaj last week. But yeah, she's just like a race baiter for CNN.
I mean, look, I hate to agree with someone like this. I'd hate to make the same point. Yeah. However, like, there is just some kind of fascination. Now, I think there's something to it. I don't know about the race angle, but there's something to, like, pretty women being, you know what I mean, like, kind of worshipped. Because it's like, it's a prize and it's important for the species. You know, it's probably something that goes back to us, like, in anthropological, you know what I mean, like tribal times, where having pretty women in the tribe, was like a sign of like a healthy tribe. And Maybe. It would probably help, perpetuate, like, you know what I mean? It would help healthy babies and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know, but it would make sense. I don't think it's purely just racism. But it is a little weird. I mean, look, it's a trend. It happens all the time. And like, it's not just the media, the public at large, like grasps onto it. So there's something to it.
There's something to it. And not to add to the agreement, have you ever heard about, and I can't even tell you how many girls, but there was girls in the DC, Baltimore area, young girls that just went missing. And I mean, you can go Illuminati if you want with it. But like, I don't know what happened. This is the 2000s, I want to say. And it was an astronomical 300-400 girls missing, and there's really nothing being done about it.
And I imagine they were not white. Is that what you're saying?
No, they were not. They were majority black. So that story, that never became a national story. It never became a thing. It was the Baltimore, D.C. area, but it's still, Washington, D.C. is still the capital of the country, technically. So, it just kind of went. And again, you could think crazy, I'll eat my neighbor's ass angle on what happened to those kids. I'm not going to go there. I just know that the story, it happened and there was really no follow up nationally. It's just kind of a story that people heard of. So well,
that's the thing. I mean, like someone like Joy Reid will probably point this out, but it's not like last week on her Twitter. I imagine she had lots of missing black girls.
True.
And you know what I mean? Like, it's probably like, it's one of those things. I think like the media, they're like, oh, we gotta miss a white girl. We got a greedy little story, and then they get caught up in it. But then I think like all of a sudden they realize they're caught up in it. It's like, oh shit, we have to comment on the fact that the country's caught up in this, and it's the country that's racist. It's not us like exploiting people's emotions.
Yeah. Zach's Blaze $1 million heart for starting.
Yeah, I do too. I'm sick of flying women. Enough flying women. Astronauts too. Get rid of them all.
If she was in the kitchen, she wouldn't have been lost.
I mean, come on, right? Yeah,
well,
I don't know.
Yeah, I always hate that thing where the media comments on itself. Like, why isn't anyone talking about this on CNN? You're on CNN. Why don't you talk about missing black women? Why don't you do it?
Yeah, because I don't think you care. I think you just want the brownie points of like, oh, we live in a racist society. I mean, like, that's really all this is. God, I'm trying to find her Twitter. I'm like something that she said about it. I can't go through her. Her Twitter's enraging. It's everything you think it would be.
Yeah, it is.
Everything you'd think it would be. It's defund the police. It's vaccinations. It's anti-Trump. It's just like, oh, God.
Man.
You're like a cartoon character.
Defund the police and vaccination. Because I don't know, you heard BLM is not pro-vax.
I know. I heard about that. It is funny.
But how can you want to defund the police and then want vaccine mandates? Because how do you suppose they're supposed to be enforced? Makes no sense.
Wait, sorry, one more time. What was that?
Okay, how can you want to defund police and also want vaccine mandates? Because how do you suppose those things are supposed to be enforced? Like, you just want mandates, but there's no police to enforce them?
It's really interesting, man. Like, I think I've brought this up before, but like the cycle of like anti-police sentiments and then like reducing police presence and then the increase in crime in certain neighborhoods is like, we've gone through this a bunch of times in the past like 100 years.
Yeah.
And it's
like rocket science.
It's not, and it's not even new. Like, this is just a playbook, and it happens each time, and then these neighborhoods suffer, and they don't develop. It's like, it seems kind of orchestrated.
Yeah.
And
go ahead. No, keep talking.
No, please. No, you go. Go.
No, because Pat S. just had a point. He said something. Says he has a buddy who's a black New Orleans Police Department. He says even when it comes to missing kids, certain people won't talk to police about anything. And I know that is definitely true. But I don't think that's going to be true 100% across the board, especially when you go into like multiple numbers. Like it was over 100, the missing DC kids. And actually I could try to look it up.
Yeah, and I think we're talking more about the like people's reaction and the media's coverage of it.
Yeah.
Whether I still think people should be cooperating with the police. I think what the hell, it's just so. I think it's just such a ridiculous thing. It's like, so then what? People just get murdered left and right, and then I don't snitch. It's like, that guy was your friend. Now he's dead, and you don't snitch. It's like, okay. I mean, and then on the other hand, when one of these guys gets shot by the cops, it's justice. We want justice. No justice, no peace, justice. And then but no justice for your friend. Like the inner infight. I don't get it.
I think the stop snitching thing is a little overblown. I mean, there are definitely people like that, but a lot of these motherfuckers talk to the police about every goddamn thing. I don't. And there's still like, but not just like actual people involved with crime, but there's still old ladies who call the police over everything in the black community. I think there's like sections, there's neighborhoods, there's areas like that, and then it gets like, black people never call the police for anything. I'm like, well, that's too far in the other direction. Like it's definitely a thing. It is definitely a thing for a lot of people, but there's a lot of people who call the police on all the time. Because I had the police called on me just like fighting and shit. So it's like, okay, somebody called them. You know,
someone called. Yeah.
Somebody called them. And just because it's a natural thing. Humans are still going to be humans. If something crazy happens, you're going to call the police and you're going to tell them what happened. That's what people tend to do, even if it is a cultural thing. I'm not going to say it's non-existent, but I think it's a bit overblown. And in any event, as far as the missing white woman coverage, I mean, it's of course Decepticon King. You care if your black weed dealer was missing. What a nice guy, Decepticon King. What a nice guy.
Sorry, I didn't want to cut off your point.
No, please do.
Because there's like, I wanted to play like the Patrice bit, but like we can't because we're on the friggin' stupid YouTube because of Mama Susan. Like if we were on the radio, we could play it, but we can play. Well, it's kind of long. You want to try it?
Yeah. I mean, I'll listen. For anyone watching the playback, if you hear like a edit, it's because I had to edit it out because they make me on a strike or whatever.
Yeah. Client. All right. Cool. I mean, it's kind of long too. I don't know how much we want to play, but it's basically just Patrice kind of commenting on this sort of like thing, and he's got there's a great point in it where you're like, damn, he's onto something. It's like you don't want to admit it, but you're like, shit, that's a great point.
Yeah.
And this is off of Elephant in the Room. Patrice's, I think it was his last film special before he passed, because he had another special release called Mr. P, but this one came out. This was like a Comedy Central one and all that, and it was very funny. He says right before this, he says, "Look at the white." Well, I'll just let him say it.
Congratulations, my friend. I'm glad y'all here. It's very good. Yo, congratulations to you, my friend. Look at that white woman you're with. God damn. Nigga behind you going, yeah, son, I'm with my girl, but yo, for real? That white woman's amazing, isn't she? Tell the truth. He's with his black girlfriend like, nah, I don't know, but she's high level. That's a high level white woman right there. That white woman is man, oh man, oh man. Black women get mad at that, but that is top shelf white woman right there.
I'm just watching Patrice. Do we lose you, bitch?
You know, you can tell how...
Vigilante? Uh-oh. I can't hear you, bro.
Hey. Yeah. I don't know.
Hey.
Exactly. Can you not hear me?
iPad. I can now. Nope. Lost you. Lost you again. I don't want to just play this. I don't want to get the stream taken down.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay.
Now you're back. Nope.
You said what?
Now you're gone.
Right.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I said I don't want to just play it through and get the stream taken down, because that happens sometimes. Remember that happened with when we were on Nina's channel.
Nina. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did.
It's a long bit, but it's funny. Like, it's like I like the way he segues into it. I like how you're plugging your t-shirts too. I think that's good.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry about that.
That's all right. No, I think it's good.
Please buy a t-shirt. But this has been a nightmare stream for everyone involved. I'm sorry.
Everyone
man.
should buy a Vigilante t-shirt, I think.
Yes, buy a t-shirt so I can get better equipment.
Yeah, exactly. It's the only way it's gonna happen.
Is the value, you look at her and then you wonder how long they would look for if she was missing. Come on, take a look. Look at this nigga, look. I saw you look mad, sweetie. How long, if you was missing, how long you think they were? Exactly, she went. You know the deal. I ain't saying nothing wrong. White woman's life is valuable. What's his name? Joran Vandersloot? Right?
Did I lose you? Vig is muted. I don't know if he's here or not. Wookiee supremacy. This man will teach you everything you need to know about women. The man was the prophet. He is. I find his method of relationships, though, seems a little exhausting. Seems like a lot of work. Seems like you can never let your guard down. You can never stop, like, pimping her, really. I mean, if you listen to what Patrice was saying, essentially you are pimping your chick because you're fucking with her mind all the time. But then again, I don't know. His chick, Vaughn, man, she was loyal. She was down. If you ever listen to, like, he had the Black Phillip show, whew, some of the women that would come on there as guests would lose their motherfucking minds. But Vaughn was a rock. She didn't give a shit. Yeah, it's pretty good. Vig is missing. Too bad no one will care because, well, you know. Yeah. Right to say Patrice the Prophet. Yo, Patrice the Prophet for sure, dude. Patrice the Prophet called Caitlyn Jenner, man. He said that shit years ago talking about like how Bruce was looking like one of the Kardashians or something like that. Such a dodo loves Patrice. Yes, I do as well. Said pimping is the only way. Fair enough, man. Fair enough.
We find out he was a serial killer. Man, he kills women. That's what he do. He do it well. You know what I mean? We know the girl that he supposedly had. What's the girl in Aruba? Natalie Holloway, right? But the one he just killed the girl in Peru. What's her name? Exactly.
Like just makes the audience make his point for him. Like that's genius. A white woman in Peru. Exactly. Vig? No, I heard him for a second. Fucking genius. So, and when you listen to Patrice, you're like, oh, well, I mean, you can't. How do you ignore that point? Here you coming through. It sounds like a crackle, like in a movie when they're trying to get, like in Armageddon when they're in the armadillo coming over and like Ben Affleck just comes through the radio, a crackle. Yeah. I did hear you. There we go.
I'm sorry, bro. Okay, can you hear me now?
It's okay.
All right.
Yes, I can.
I've missed most of this clip because like I keep getting knocked off, so I'm not sure if yeah.
Well, I could take it back just a minute ago because that's the best part is this whole thing where he's saying like his premise is that basically white woman's life is more valuable. The media will look for it longer, and then he starts talking about Joran Vandersloot.
Come on, ain't nothing wrong. White woman's life is valuable. What's his name? Joran Vandersloot? Right? We find out he was a serial killer. Man, he kills women. That's what he do. He do it well. You know what I mean? We know the girl that he supposedly had. What's the girl in Aruba? Natalie Holloway, right? But the one he just killed the girl in Peru. What's her name? Exactly.
It's still funny. Just watched it. It's still funny.
Look how fast you said Natalie. You said Natalie. Natalie Holloway, that angel. Y'all said that like Family Feud. All right, name a white girl been missing for 5 years in Aruba. Natalie Holloway. Survey says. Name a Peruvian girl that was killed yesterday.
All right, I can't just sit here and watch this whole fucking special. It's so great, though. He goes later on. He goes about the NFL players that were missing and how long they looked for them, and they just went to the edge of the beach and just like looked. Don't see them. That's as hard as they tried. Oh, Patrice, we missed you, buddy. Goddamn. It's kind of funny how it turned the dead white girl into missing Patrice, but listen, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. And he goes to the girl. She goes, I'd look for you, but the news ain't. The news just won't. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. How's it going, Vigi?
Oh, man. The CIA has me out of their grasp for now, but they may come back. Who knows?
I kind of feel like we're in YouTube jail for a little while.
Yeah.
Neither one of us has grown in like weeks. I don't understand. I don't know what we did wrong.
Well, me, I talk a lot of shit. Like I kind of I know what I did. I know what I did last summer.
You're like, yeah.
But like
I know.
you, I mean, I think your channel should be growing, man. You're like, I feel like you're growing. Like the perception of your channel is growing. Like the people who watch your channel like your channel more. So if the growth isn't true. Like external, but like
I hope that's
really,
true.
Like, I think you're the man. So I'm not just saying it because.
Well, like, thanks, brother.
Streaming with you, but like, I really feel that, so to speak. You can just feel. Yeah,
thanks,
people fuck with you.
I think we've got something good here, brother. Not that we're just gonna blow smoke up each other's ass, but
yeah, we're so awesome. But
What's that?
well, not me because I was just saying we're so awesome.
We are great. We're great, and you guys know it.
My fucking stream is shitting out. I can hear you. There's no guarantee you'll be able to hear anything I say. So
I can hear you now. So
lovely.
If I don't hear you, I'll let you know.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's, I don't know. So I guess that's the whole Gabby the Petito story. I mean, it sucks. Like, that's a sad story, but it is weird. It's kind of, there is something with this culture and obsessing over missing white women.
Yeah. And particularly pretty women. I've yet to see.
Oh yeah.
Even like a fat white woman, and in the world, oh man, you believe this 400-pound white woman is missing?
Is it like that protective instinct, like that white knight thing? Like, you know how like in when you're young, there's like always like that, like a girl gets picked on, and like, you know, the guys have that instinct to like, hey, like leave her alone, like that kind of thing. You know, like is that it on like a nationwide scale?
Maybe maybe that's why I don't
pretty white girls.
No disrespect to. Maybe that's why I no disrespect to the young lady. You know, I think it's tragic that, you know, especially what happened with her boyfriend's fucked up. If that's what happened, I don't want to get sued. But like, I didn't know about the story and had no interest in it because I'm older and no longer care like anything about what a woman thinks on any subject. So it wasn't like, oh man, you know,
any woman weighing in on anything. Who gives a shit?
On any subject, I have no interest in.
Oh, that's like Ryan Cannell level sexism right there.
And I've been bred this sexism. Like, I've been taught this sexism by women. Women have taught me just
Oh. They got him. What? Crackling through, brother.
Am I here?
Yeah, now you're back.
They're trying to cancel me for that one. They said, "No, fuck this. We're fucking with this."
Mama Susan ain't having that.
Yeah,
Mama Susan ain't having that. There's some bass chicks, dude. There's like I like Carrie Smith. I like who's the one that was on this show? Chrissy Mayer.
Yeah, they're cool.
They're cool. There's a few. There's some good comics. I like
Chrissy's
Eddie Lederman. Yeah,
but like,
that seems like
Lauren Chen's, she's attractive. She's based, got a good head on her shoulder. Like Carrie Smith, but like I don't.
X-Ray Girl.
X-Ray Girl, all wonderful. We were on with Nina. All wonderful people. I love them all. Wish them the best. I'm not gonna. I care what they got to say.
Well, I look at like based women as like they're like black conservatives. You know what I mean? It's like they get it. They're not allowed to speak. You know what I mean? Like they're like, oh, you don't count. You're not part of this thing. You know, you're not on board.
I mean, they count because good information. Listen, whenever I hear good information or a good point, I'm gonna. All jokes aside, it's like I rock with it. But on average,
but now it's like average,
there are exceptions.
When they just start sounding Lorena off Creole. With what you think, Lorena Creole, hail, but like when you do hear like women, they sound off like what you would think they already think. You know what I mean? But they're doing it really loudly, and you're like, all right, just shut up. Yeah. I know, I heard, I know, patriarchy, got it. Yeah, I know. I just mock them now. I had a girl come in to where I work, and she was like pretty cute, but you could definitely see like feminism was like part of her identity. And she was talking about something. She was reading some book, and I was like, she was explaining to me. I was like, oh, is he a commie? And she goes, what do you mean by that? And I was just like, well, what's his idea? Racism, patriarchy. I was like, yeah, okay, commie. And and she just like, but like, because I was messing with her, like she couldn't really get upset. And then so for the rest of the night, like I would just make like little like commie jokes. And then there was like one thing that came up, like there was a trivia question, and it was about Eastern Europe. And I was like, oh, Eastern Europe, you know all about that. Like, just jabbing her. And she like it was like it diffused it. Like there was no, like she was laughing, the people at the table were laughing. Like it was like it just killed the like the political anger that probably would have, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, it really is the best way to deal with them is to just tease them.
Yeah, there you go. And not everyone is as gifted to blow more smoke up your ass. You're a pretty funny guy, so it works.
Thanks. Yeah. And I'm an ass who doesn't care.
Yeah, and you can get away with it. You can get away with it.
I'll try. All right. Well, I know the one story you said you wanted to talk about was based ass Daniel Craig.
That's a bit of a stretch.
Is that a bit of a stretch? Over exaggeration?
I do. I do think that's an over exaggeration. Daniel Craig, and actually, if you could, only God knows if the article will even work if you try to pull it up because with the stream. But because there were elements of the articles I skimmed through. Shout out to Bounding in the Comics. I thought were interesting, but basically, Daniel Craig reverses course, and that's a key point about women saying there should not be a female James Bond. I think a couple years ago he said, "Oh, black, gay, everyone should be James Bond."
I don't even know why the fuck he would weigh in on it. It's so stupid to weigh in on it either way. You know what I mean? Like, as an actor, just shut up. Like, in my dream world, I would love for him to really speak what he truly believes, stand by it, and be like, I don't care if you're upset. This is what I think. But that's not a real thing. So for him, he shouldn't say anything about it. He just shouldn't even talk about it.
He doesn't really have beliefs, though. They have whatever beliefs they're told to have.
That's true. They just have belief in they should continue to be famous and rich.
But like they don't really like. I remember the one guy from what the fuck was it? Black Widow, David Harbour, I believe the guy's name. I don't know how the hell I remember.
Oh, the commie.
He was talking about communism, but it was clear he didn't really know about communism. He just it sounds cool.
Sounds good.
And he just said
that's what it is.
It's like
that video got ratioed, by the way. I put up that video. That video is hard ratioed. I think I'm under 50% on that one. Yeah. I think I got into commie Twitter.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because actual Russians went after you then.
Well,
actual Russian
that's what it was
bots.
in Russian. It was in Russian, but then there was someone in the comments was like, would you stop copying and pasting into Google Translate the Russian? Which I was like, oh, did some kid, some fucking little like Che Guevara shirt wearing motherfucker like try to make his point seem more like convicted by doing that in Google Translate? Like, you bitch. But that does sound like something like, you know what I mean? Like someone like that would do. Some like teenager.
Does.
It has 36 likes and 44 dislikes at a ratio of 45% with about 700 views.
Yeah.
So, got 10 subscribers out of it, though.
I'll
take that.
Hey, that's all that counts.
That's all that counts. That's fine.
Real quick, a couple guys in the chat saying two things that I believe. Our own Central Dildo. He should shut up. He was a terrible Bond. He was absolutely... I don't want to say just offhand the worst James Bond, but even before this movie, which I'm sure is going to ruin him, you can make the argument he was the worst James Bond, despite having one of the better movies than the first one they did, Casino Royale.
I think he was a great Bond, like, initially, but, like, it had a lot to do, I think, with tone. You know what I mean? Like, he was always so sullen. Like, he was never cool and fun. It was like this... The whole vibe, and I think Critical Drinker pointed this out, but it was like he was like a reluctant Bond. You know, like he's like, you know, put in this life of high intrigue, and you know, you're just like, yeah, but Bond's having fun with it. Like, even though he's put in serious peril, you always feel like he's gonna triumph because he's Bond. Yeah,
and I just feel like they didn't really get, and I guess it's not all on him; it's the writers and directors and whoever else is involved, but they didn't really get James Bond. I hope this is his last one. I think they're doing pre-damage control with this. That's why I think this is, and that's why it's relevant to the article. And I also have and maybe this is a bullshit theory, but I also have the theory of like, you know what, the rich, powerful, evil assholes that fuck up everything in society, they have to care about something. There have to be properties where they say, okay, you know what, I know women and all that, but I just want to watch my James Bond movie. I know we got this agenda going on. I just want to see James Bond fuck broads and drive nice cars and blow shit up, because that's what I've been watching for 50 years, and that's just what I want to see.
There's definitely plenty of people like that. It's just that, like, it doesn't. I can't overstate how important, like, the personal influence, like the direct influence of the people that you live with in and work with in Hollywood, like how much that matters, how influential that is, because it's really like, it's such a cliquey town. It's pretty cult-like in a lot of ways, but it has like your peers and satisfying their, like, I don't know, values, like living up to their values is like paramount living in that town. So even if there are people there who want to be like, yeah, this is ridiculous, we're torpedoing these franchises, we're ruining it, you know, we're losing money, it's like you still have like some, you know, cunty, like executive woman, you know what I mean, who's just got all these feminist ideologies, and you still have to go over to her house for dinner, and, you know, she'll have, you know, these actors over, and it's like you don't want to get kicked out of this club, so it's like everyone just kind of, it's like, and it's like this, you know, it's like this sort of collective play that everyone's just sort of acting at. You know what I mean? We all share these values, of course. It's implied. So it's like you'd have to be pretty, you know, like roguish to really try to contradict that. And the way that Hollywood works is that you need group approval to get work, to be promoted, to be, you know, even in the game. So it's like it's a really challenging thing for someone to go against that.
And that's how we got into the mess that we're in now. But I gotta imagine, like, okay, I can see that a bunch of really rich, powerful people don't really give a fuck about superheroes. They don't really care. They're glad that they make money for them,
right?
But they don't really care. They don't really care about space stories. There's a lot of these stories they don't care about. But I feel like James Bond is such a property that's just like, it's such an easy to understand property and easy to produce, that surely somebody who has power over this property recognizes, man, we really can't go hardcore feminism with this one. We just can't.
I mean, just look at Star Wars. It's like, there are so many ways that you can fuck up Star Wars. It's not to say it's a slam dunk no matter what, but would anyone have imagined that the way they fucked it up was to have absolutely no plan whatsoever? You just like, you can't believe that a company with that much money, that many resources, that much, you know, media, like entertainment professionals, would be the way they would fuck. Like, you just can't. That sounds like someone who like comes into the business without having any knowledge of the way storytelling works or movies work, and thinks they can just make it up on the fly and learns pretty quickly that's not how it is. You don't think the largest media company with the most resources would just wing it.
What makes it worse is they had the MCU simultaneously. So they had actually been rewarded by having a plan. It was 2012, 2015. The MCU was already going. Granted, they didn't start it, so maybe that's the thing. But it was they owned it at that time. I know that much for sure. I think 2012 is when the transition fully.
I thought it was right
from then on.
I thought Captain Marvel was the first Disney Star Wars movie, a Disney MCU movie. Am I wrong?
No, I thought that Disney had owned the MCU from like 2015, 2016. Somebody in the chat, you guys are smarter than us. Please correct us.
Oh, 2009 it says. Yeah, you're right.
2009. Oh man, I didn't think it was that early. I thought it was like 2012, and from then on. It says, but
for $4 billion. But wasn't there something with creative control? Like, it wasn't Disney or something? Wasn't it like a separate entity for a little while? I don't know. 2012 says Tom. Hey, Tom. What's up, buddy?
2012. So that was my guess was right. Hell, Tom. I thought.
I mean, look.
409. Okay, so now we're.
I mean, this is what Google pulled up, but I would trust Tom's word over Google.
Yeah.
Because he knows all this stuff. He knows the ins and outs, the nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
I thought that there was something about who was making it. Like, it wasn't them. I don't know. What do I know?
You might be right where there was additional, because it was a little bit of it, because they had the other guy, Ike Perlmutter, who was actually kind of racist, because he said nobody else
Oh, what'd he say? Oh shit, we lost him.
No, this is clear. But
Tom says,
am I lost?
No, you came back.
I'm sitting.
Nope, there you go. Okay. Lost you again. Yeah, okay. Tom says Iron Man 3 was the last one released by Paramount, but Disney had video rights since Avengers. That I know. So maybe that was it. So like up until Iron Man 3, that it was the creative decisions were coming more from Paramount than Disney. If that's, I thought there was something about that. I'm not. Okay. I don't know. Obviously,
but that's still around the era. So we'll say 2016 or that's probably safe.
But that's weird. But even that, it's like we associate Disney with incompetence. That's how crazy things have gotten.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to cut your point off.
And honestly, even more thing, I'm kind of glad we went through that. Hopefully you can still hear me. But like, because now you can kind of see like, well, Iron Man 3, yeah, you still had a good selection of movies that came out right after. But I feel like 2015, 2016, even though MCU was incredibly popular, that's when like I started to see cracks in the armor, and that's when Disney's control went larger and larger. So 2009, but the Paramount deal had to play out. So they had to movies already in production, and they already going to about Iron Man 3, which is what we're gathering here.
Yeah, I mean, They still did Infinity War, which I thought was amazing. So somehow they managed to pull that off. Yeah. So
despite their best efforts.
Yeah. I was under the wrong impression.
Yeah. 2012 was Lucasfilm. My point is that even they had ownership of this company that was succeeding based upon a plan. As far as Marvel, rather, we can argue and we can look up how the rights are. So $4 billion in 2009, and then as you said, the Paramount deal had to, and then you got Lucasfilm, 2012. So it was after. It was after you have a franchise. By the time Farce Weekend comes out, you already know the Marvel Cinematic Universe is succeeding in no small point to because of a plan. So how could you not at least come up with one and see it through? I don't know.
It's staggering.
Maybe
and
that
so
same incompetence, because that's. Sorry, there's a huge delay amongst other
There's a
things.
Delay?
So when you start,
fuck.
I've already stopped. Go ahead, man.
No.
I think it's a delay. I can hear you on time, but I think by the time you hear me, it takes a while.
Yeesh. All right. Well, we'll try to just work with that. No, I mean, please continue making your point. I didn't mean to cut you off at all.
Oh no, I was actually kind of going to bring it back to the James Bond thing. Just regardless of how their source of incompetence was, they should not have been that incompetent. That was my whole point of going through the MCU thing, because it's like, okay, you still had control over a property that its biggest strength was the planning and was the coordination. Well, by the time they bought Lucasfilm, Avengers had already come out. So even if they still have movies down the pike, they recognize, hey, this whole thing is succeeding because there's a plan involved. We should go about that same logic with this. And they didn't. And in the same way,
they went into production immediately.
And we probably do have a very feminist. Yeah. And in that vein, we probably have a feminist.
Tom, minutes. Now I've straight up lost you, brother. Tom, Minutes Edge After Dark. Hail, by the way. It was basically a distribution deal with Paramount. Paramount turned down their option to buy the studio prior with Disney. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like because as I heard about it, talked about so much that like there was creative control that was sort of passed over, and I think that's when like we got the more Captain Marvel-y thing where they kind of fucked up Endgame or a lot of these like everything became like the MCU. I think that's Disney's influence, if I'm not mistaken. Later, low spec Linux laptop. Thanks for hanging out. Vidge, you are completely audioless. Can't hear you at all. So I guess I'll just read this article because this is interesting. I'm curious to see what this is all about. So Damage Control. Daniel Craig reverses course, now says a woman shouldn't be James Bond. He's speaking with Radio Times, as reported by The Independent. Craig stated there should simply be better parts for women and actors of color. He even questioned, why should a woman play James Bond when there should be a part just as good as James Bond, but for a woman? I mean, look, that's not exactly resisting the narrative. It's not exactly him standing up to them feminizing literally everything and destroying IPs. He's kind of being like, no, you're better than this. You don't need to come play a female James Bond. They should make Super Jamie Bond, and she should be better than all. Like, he's like, this is a really weaselly way to put this. I don't think he's like straight up standing up for the character. Vigilante, are you there?
All right, I am now here.
Yes.
Do I go away when I go away? So for me, everything shut down. I had to restart the stream. Well, not the stream, but just restart the window
browser.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
The browser. That's the word they use.
You disappear. Yeah, you disappear.
I do disappear. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I don't know if you heard any of that. But basically what he said was, he didn't say that, hey, James Bond should be played by a woman because it's a character that needs to be preserved. He was basically saying that, like, there's actually, like, women are so great and amazing that they shouldn't even stoop to playing this character. They should create a new one that's, like, so great. That's, like, the best, better than Bond. You know?
So he simped his way to it.
Yeah, he really did. It's not a based-ass comment at all. It's really femmy. He said Craig previously claimed that a woman could be James Bond. Back in 2019, British tabloid The Mirror reported that Craig said, I think that everybody should be considered. Also, for women and African Americans, there should be great parts anyway across the board. Now, obviously, I'm not Ian Fleming. I didn't write it. I don't know why Bond couldn't be black. I don't think that matters. I think Idris Elba would make a good Bond. It's stupid, but that's how he feels about it. And it's like, okay, he's a white character, whatever. But no, a woman, no. It doesn't make any sense for it to be a woman. It's not a female character. It's like, it's not correct. And it would be so cringy to see, like, this woman, like they try to do that. They try to, like, have women, like, occupy, like, male roles and, like, they sleep around. But, like, women sleeping around generally makes them feel miserable. Because they feel unloved. They don't feel like they have, like, support and strength. They're not happy to have multiple dicks and all that type of shit. Like, they want one great
I've seen some
guy.
Crazy shit in the hub, man. No, I'm just joking.
No. I mean, they do it, and they think they should. But I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, they've been taught, like, trained, like, yeah, girl, go get yours. But it does not make them happy.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. But I mean, you can't tell them that.
I'm saying, but to try to make a female Bond where she would, like, sleep around, you know what I mean, and it would be all cool, and then, like, you know what I mean, and she'd be flying out of a car shooting a gun. You're like, all right, this is just, who is this for? Vig?
All right. Can you hear me now?
Now I can.
Please hear me. Thank you, Most High.
I can hear
This
you.
has been a nightmare. Thank you, Matt, for dealing with me, because I really apologize about this stream. This is going terribly. I keep trying to get my PC to work, and it won't.
Well, thanks for those who are sticking with us.
And thank you all for sticking with me, sticking with us all. This has been very, very awful, and I apologize. And I still don't know why. I don't know why my sound card works for every other program except StreamYard. So, and but to go back to your point about kind of the nature.
Ooh, just lost him. He was just about to make a point.
So what's up?
Hail. A key that can open any lock is a master key. A lock that can be opened by any key is a shitty lock. That's true. Hail. Vig, are you there? I can hear the little.
Yeah, I'm. Okay, cool. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right, I am there, and I heard you read the comment, and I agree with it, and I think kind of culturally that's how people feel. I don't think I mean, girls will yes queen in their face, but then they'll turn around. Like, you see that slut? I don't think women champion other women sleeping around like that. Like, I think they look, on average, tend to look down. And then as a guy, like, sometimes you're like, hey, easy access. That's not what you're looking for. Like, you don't want to watch that on a movie unless it's like on the hub.
It's just not like. Well, the thing is, like, a lot of these are kind of like our supreme values. Like, that's why we have ideals as our movie stars and stuff like that, because it's something to like live up to or look up to, or just sort of, like vicariously live through for a while. Like, you know what I mean? You get to like when you're a kid and you're done watching one of these movies, like you're jumping around your house, you know what I mean? Like being Bond because it was cool. Like it kind of, it's sort of like the ideal. So if you did that with a woman, and like they would definitely try to make her like, they wouldn't be like, oh, she's in like a really healthy relationship where she gets emotionally fulfilled, which would be the real ideal for women. They're gonna like, oh, they're gonna make her sleep around because that's what Bond does, and it would just be like so stupid. Like it's like that's not like. It doesn't work the same way. We're not the exact same kind of thing, And it would be this forced bullshit, like, oh, women can do it too. It's like, yeah, but you don't want to. So why are you trying to steal it?
Well, you could ask feminism that on a lot of things. But yeah, they'll probably, honestly, if they do a female Bond, and this is kind of what I on with Lashana Lynch, they'll probably just make her a lesbian because that's their ideal. Is like, instead of like giving women what they want, you give people what you think they want. And actually, I think that's one of the quotes from the article from Lashana Lynch herself, if I remember correctly, because I read through it back before, back when I thought my PC would work and it would work, my sound card worked like it had a million times before. And let me actually see if that is correct.
Well, like, if they were going to make her straight even, that they wouldn't do it, like, accurately. Like, they never do. Like, what was that movie with that TV show, the Marvel TV show with, like, the Jessica Jones?
Yeah, Jessica Jones, yeah.
I mean, like, they have a scene in that where I think it's Luke Cage that's fucking her, but it's like this brolic black dude, like huge, like 6'3", all muscle, and they're just having, she's like, I'm like, listen, I have seen people of those two body types having sex. That's not the sound the girl was making, okay? I think he would fucking destroy her. And she's just like, yeah, girls. It's just like, no. That would be ownership.
That's super pussy. I don't know.
I don't either, but I was just like, this is dumb. Like, I hate when you're just like, this is not the way the real world works, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you want me to read a little bit more of this article?
Yeah. And actually, I checked the bottom. You can go, if you can scroll down toward the end. She does say, this is Lashana Lynch. I don't fuck her.
Oh, in this article.
In this very article, yeah. It's toward the end. She says, we are in a place in time where the industry is not just giving audiences what it thinks the audience wants. They're actually giving the audience what they want to give the audience. So I'm not sure if this is a misquote or she worded it or was intentionally trying to be incredibly honest. And I think it's further down. It's like toward the end.
I mean, I kind of want to I want to read this whole thing. There's so much here. We're in a place where the industry...
We can read the whole thing. We can read through it.
The industry is not just giving audiences what it thinks audience wants. They're actually giving the audience what they want. Well, I mean, yeah, that's like super honest. Then she goes on to say with Bond...
I wasn't expecting that.
No. Like with Bond, it could be a man or a woman that they could be... They could be white, black, Asian, mixed race. They could be young or old. At the end of the day, even if a 2-year-old was playing Bond, everyone would flock to the cinema to see what this 2-year-old's going to do. No, what? But that's not that's not the whole point. But how many times are they going to go through this where it's like, no, the only reason anyone's going to it is because the goodwill from the previous films. People are not just going to show up like repetitively for absolutely everything. Just look at the fact that Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers says Solo lost money. Look at the fact that whatever the last stupid fucking Star Wars 9 was had half the amount of money that the seventh one made. It's not, people are not just going to show up no matter what. If you run these into the ground, people will not buy it any longer. Star Trek is not a profitable brand any longer. Like, the only reason, people flock to it, yes, because the other movies are good and people like them and they're hoping that this one will be reflected as good. It's not just good. It's not endless. There's not an endless source of goodwill for these fucking things. That is such an arrogant point of view. Yes, Sentient Dildo. Consume corporate product. Peasants don't think about it. It's so annoying. Pop Culture Republic saying, or they could just leave the character alone and make something new. Well, that's kind of what they're saying here, which is interesting-ish. But they're also framing it like, women are so powerful and strong, yada, yada, yada.
All right. Can you hear me? Am I back?
You're back. Like,
okay,
for instance...
Hopefully for a little bit. So, the reason I wanted to go into that...
What? Reason what?
So I must be super delayed then. Yeah, I'm very much delayed because there's a huge delay between when I'm hearing you and then when you're actually hearing me. So I apologize about that. But the reason I wanted to go into the whole Lashana Lynch is this is how they think. They legit think that because they worship brands and they worship power, so they think, okay, something is a brand or is powerful, therefore it will always be powerful and people always will get that. That's why they don't understand economics. They just think wealth just exists. They don't believe it's created. They don't realize somebody has to work hard and build something for it to exist. And the same, whether it's a business or a franchise, they just think, oh, well, it's James Bond. Of course people will watch it. But it's like, well, Kmart used to be popular too, and it's not anymore.
Yeah, and it's also just the absolute proof that they have no respect for the fans whatsoever. Like, that's just the pure evidence that, like, they just think people mindlessly flock to these things and don't have any personal investment. It's just, well, it's like that whole thing with George Costanza from Seinfeld, where he's like, when he's pitching the show, and the guy's like, well, why would I watch it? And he's like, because it's on TV. Like, they literally think because if it's on TV or if it's in the movie, people will go no matter what. It's like, that's really not how this works. Like, people need to want to go to things. And also, like, this has been a profitable brand for over half a century. Like, why would you take these risks to destroy it? I can't understand that. It almost make more sense.
I can't.
Yeah. So I noticed it would almost make more sense just to make bland decisions, just to make bland, like, just kind of like, oh, this is just more of the same. Like, that almost would make more sense. Yeah, they just
keep doing the same thing over.
Yeah. Sentient Dildo. Why
not stirred and fucked approximately 2.5 bras.
Well, yeah, Sentient Dildo says, why would they have respect for the fans? They are so much better than them. That's how they look at it. That's how they see it.
Smarter than us.
Yep, smarter, better.
Smarter, better, stronger, faster, everything than us.
Absolutely. Morally enlightened.
Yeah.
So James Bond producer Barbara Broccoli previously said that James Bond would never be a female. Back in 2018, Broccoli told The Guardian, this is a woman, this is pretty tight, Bond is male. He's a male character. He is written as a male, and he'll probably stay as a male. She added, and that's fine. We don't need to turn male characters into women. Let's just create more female characters and make the story fit those female characters. I mean, yes and no. Like, I'm not saying we don't need female characters and stuff like that, but it's like, I think it's kind of a misnomer. Like this equal representation is not 100% necessary. Like, I don't think there's that many women out there who are just like, oh, if only there were more women in movies. I think, like, there's people that believe that and they think that that's correct, but, like, I don't know. It does, to me, it doesn't have to be a rule. Like, write what makes sense. Write what's interesting, and stop thinking about representation, and I think it'll just come up naturally.
I agree. I think there's just like they have that false premise about representation in their head,
Yes.
or at least the belief that they're trying to push is that if something was represented, everything would be different. They think that there's just been all these women who wanted to be masculine action stars, but because they never saw themselves as such, that's why they didn't go test tube like Abby from Last of Us. It's because they never saw it on screen. Now that they're seeing all these men get cut, now they'll want to be action stars.
Yeah. Once again, it's communism, essentially.
That's not reality. It's not reality. And it's also this false premise that men and women are the same. We're not. And that's fine. Everything's not the same. No two things on earth are equivalent. So men and women are not the same. We don't have the same interests. We don't have the same likes. We don't have the same wants. And they just refuse to understand that.
Yeah, they refuse to acknowledge it. Everything's about inequality and power dynamics, and it's like it's just like it's as much as they're killing the masculine, they're truly killing the feminine as well.
Absolutely.
Like they are destroying it in the sense of like, it's okay to want to have a male and a family, and that be your motivating factor in life. That's actually fine.
Yeah, it worked for thousands of years from tons of cultures.
And there's nothing oppressive about it because it's like it's genuine to who you are inside. That's fine. It's not society's conditioning that made you want to have children. It's your biology. It's just weird.
It's society's conditioning. You should want to be a super president astronaut, like all kids, and you should just want to be all the time. You should want to be the bestest ever at all times. You want to be a mom? And what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, like what? Like, don't you have any self-respect?
Yeah,
it's like it's how they look at it. Like there was, and I heard this reporter. I think I brought this up before, but I heard about this reporter who went to like some of the most successful women, in the world, and wanted to see what was consistent about them, like what was the uniting factor. And she said,
divorce.
Well, no, it was like she went to like Oprah, like Diane Sawyer, and like some very successful woman, and she concluded the only consistent factor was that they didn't have kids and they were pissed off about it.
Well, you can't have it all.
You can't
have it all.
You literally can't have it all.
And that's just, you got to make choices. And the reason I said divorce is because the most successful women or the richest women are all like divorcees, like Bezos' ex-wife,
or they're fucking criminals. Did you hear about that one girl who's like she's like the fake Steve Jobs,
fake tech genius? Yeah, I do remember her.
Yeah, she's straight up a liar. Just a fucking fraud. Yeah,
she grifted for like a lot of money though.
Billions. She's a billionaire.
Damn it.
Yeah, grifted hard too.
Now she's too rich to put in jail. That's the plan.
We'll see.
I don't know what I'm doing.
I don't know. Yeah, dude, that's nuts because she defrauded like people who were selling medical tech. Like that's people's lives are in danger because of how full of shit she is.
Pretty evil.
It's real evil.
Yeah.
It's like sociopathic. And it's interesting, like it seems like she wanted to be Steve Jobs and like heard about like what Steve Jobs did, but didn't have like the working knowledge of the things that Steve Jobs had. Like Steve Jobs was like uncompromising about what the things he wanted in the iPhone. Like, and they were like, you can't ask us to do this. And he would push them because he knew somewhere it was possible. It sounds like she was trying to do the same thing, but had no concept of what she was asking and just heard that Steve Jobs did that. So she did that. And that's like the model.
Yeah. There's a lot of that, not just in this generation, but in tech specifically. Because I 1,000 years ago, before I had this job, screwing up everything, I tried to get a tech job, and there was this guy at one of these meetups, and he wanted to make a company that he could sell to investors, but he forgot about like making a product that people will want, and so he had this little shitty little app that if you did a QR code, an ad would play, and I'm like, well, how is this going to be practical in any way, shape, form, or fashion? He had no clue about that. None.
So he didn't build a product. He just was like, I can make money, and this is what I heard makes money are apps.
Yes. He did a
brilliant
boilerplate app, and then he thought I'll sell it for millions.
And now I'm sure he's on the Forbes richest 100 people in the world, right?
Probably.
Who
knows? I haven't looked in there to see what I haven't. I forgot the name that. But I just remember the story. Cause I remember him.
Yeah. Well, he sounds like a gem. Let me. I want to read a little bit more of this. However, rumors have persisted that a female 007 will be introduced in No Time to Die. Those rumors from the Daily Mail claimed, quote, there is a pivotal scene at the start of the film where M says, come in 007, and in walks Lashana, who is black, beautiful, and a woman. The source added, it's a popcorn dropping moment. Oh, get fucked. Bond is still Bond, but he's been replaced as 007 by this stunning woman. That's clearly coming from someone who wants the entire world to reflect their personal politics. That is not a real reaction. That is like, yay, the checkboxes I want to see are being checked. On top of these rumors, Lynch did an interview with Harper's Bazaar, who published a headline that declared she was taking on the role of 007. The headline said, Lashana Lynch making history as the first black 007. See, now, I think as From Heels vs. Babyface put out a movie today, or a video today that said, I guess the title was that Bond would have to make $900 million to make its money back or something like that. And yeah, that's like No Time to Die needs to make $900 to break even. And that's probably because they probably reshot the whole movie to get rid of this female Bond that no one wanted.
I think they did. Yeah, that was another point I wanted to bring this. I want to talk about. I definitely think they changed this movie because, last year, they were going really hard into feminism as far as the marketing, and now
big
it's
time.
No, and that's kind of what I was saying earlier. I think there has to be somebody that either thought, okay, this will be a Gillette moment if we release it as it is, or just come on, let's not fuck up Bond. I mean, it's James Bond. Can he? I don't think
anyone is giving a shit. I don't think anyone cares the way that they're like, I don't want to lose my job.
But I want them to.
Yeah, I know. I want them to too. But it's I think it's more I don't want to lose my job. I don't want this to be my legacy. I don't want to be the person who destroyed James Bond. You know what I mean? I don't want that. I want my career intact. I think that's the motivation.
Yeah. Like I said, I think there's definitely a fear of a Gillette and if you guys don't remember that Gillette commercial where they lost hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars since that commercial.
That was so great.
And I think
because it was the most offensive commercial ever.
It was terrible. It's a terrible commercial.
It was implying that men, when they hang out with their toddlers, have little fight clubs. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's and then meanwhile, all you need to do is turn on the internet and see compilations of dads saving their children at key moments. You know what I mean? Where they call it the dad reflexes. It's
yeah,
it's this total bullshit reality. Yeah. Oh, I just Googled. It says $8 billion. They lost $8 billion. I mean, that's according to Clownfish TV, but holy shit. Yeah. Wow. That's awesome.
So, it would be worth it to even lose money on this movie if you had to change it, just because you don't want to Last Jedi. We've saw shitty James Bond movies with Daniel Craig. That's fine. If you just make another shitty Daniel Craig movie, you still have the franchise. If you do that, if you make it all woke and you go feminism, nobody's ever going to watch James Bond again.
Yeah, or it just will be one of these IPs that's no longer profitable and it won't be worth it to make one. Like I think that's the issue. Like, and because they're stupid. Like they're dumb. Like they're bad at their jobs. A lot of these people. Like for instance, like the reason we're getting a new Indiana Jones, I think, is because over the pandemic, people were watching the shit out of the original 3 because there was so much new content eats dick. New content fucking sucks. So we're watching the things that we know are good. We're going back and watching the classics. We're watching Predator again, and we're watching all these things, and they process that as, oh, there's still interest in this IP, instead of what they should be processing is, we are terrible at making movies. People want to go back and watch what is good because everything we put out now is garbage. So it's like bringing it back to this, it's like these IPs. Are you there, bud?
Yeah, I'm back. Hopefully.
Okay.
Maybe.
So it's they're just not great at their jobs. So it's like they don't understand like why people like the things that they like, and so it's like they can't play this out the way it needs to be played out because they fucking suck.
But like James Bond is the simplest property to understand. It's
so easy.
By far and away the simplest property because so much of it has been formatted for years to the point where it's a genre almost in and of itself. Bond film.
Yeah, it's true.
Not even a spy movie. It's a Bond film. When you see, there's a difference between something like Jason Bourne or something. It's all intrigue and espionage, and like when they're trying to clone a James Bond movie or James Bond movies themselves. So
and they've been parodied, and they're such an indelible part of the culture. Yeah, it's not even really. Yeah, there's not like that much to it. Like it's, some big over the top villain. James Bond in harrowing situations, hot women, fast cars, and cool gadgets.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, that's kind of it.
Yeah, it's almost like a slasher movie with how like simple the format needs to be to make a James Bond movie.
We really did just take it for granted in the 90s. We had no idea how good we had it.
No, we didn't. We had no clue because we thought things will always be this way. We just thought this is the way it was, and that's how movies are good.
Yeah, but no one could have foreseen that an entire industry would be hijacked for like political, like social and change and all this. Like no one could have foreseen that. It doesn't make any sense. Like I think the biggest criticism of Hollywood over the years was that they're just fucking greedy. That they would just pump out shit and it was like they would make things that were bad because they didn't care, or they would just it'd just be over the top, just so much, another Transformers film. It's like, little did we know. Like, it's like we should have been so lucky as to just have an industry that was motivated by profit, because at least they gave a shit about you as a customer.
Yeah, they wanted you to buy their stuff. They didn't think, oh, this class of fan is beneath us.
Yeah, they didn't. It never would have crossed their mind. Like, they probably thought of themselves as better than us, but like they wouldn't put it in the movie.
No, they wouldn't say it in every interview. They wouldn't just browbeat us. They wouldn't tell us, oh man, if you didn't vote how I vote, you must be an evil person. Or if you don't think how I think, there's something wrong with you. Or you know what I mean? Or I don't want to perform for those type of fans. I don't want those fans.
Right. Exactly.
I don't want you. It's not made for you. All this other crazy shit.
And then make terrible content on top of it that's like loaded with their agenda. Like, and obviously totally missed the point, like Kelly Pseudakanis, who's just like, if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. It's like, you arrogant retard. That's not why people don't buy the book. It's because you put the politics in the book. That's the problem. People don't want that in their entertainment.
Yeah, it's not that because I rather not like your politics. I really shouldn't even know what the fuck your politics are.
I don't have no give a shit. I don't care. Yeah. The only people whose politics I've been interested in that were entertainment are like those political people, like like Jon Stewart or Colbert. You know what I mean? Like those are the types of people. That's what they do. Their politics are intertwined with what their entertainment value is. Other than that, fucking shove it up your ass. And we probably are just going to assume you're a liberal anyway. So why even bother saying it? You only stand to like. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. God, he fucked everything up for them, huh?
They had to resist the Orange Man, the evil Orange Man. He was so evil, and there were still these evil people that didn't know how evil he was, and they went along with it. God damn it, these racist white supremacists.
God, you know what? Speaking of like taking things for granted, just seeing how much he triggered them and how upset they always were. Like, I think I should have relished in that a little bit more, you know? Like, I used to get upset about it, but I should just be like, you are mad. You're so mad. Like, and just kind of sit back and be like, awesome.
Man, I was thinking about that the other day. Hopefully, StreamYard lets me finish this thought. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But, like, if you had been frozen in the year 2014 and awakened now, you would be, like, frightened at everything that we would say to you. First off, we would say, hey, everything's screwed up because the guy from The Apprentice was president for 4 years, and there's been a virus that locked everything down. You would say, what the fuck? What? What is happening? You would think you're having a nightmare or something. You'd be struggling to get back to 2014 if you were frozen. You were like, what?
Yeah.
It would all look crazy.
It's wild, man. It's just so weird. And then like that whole thing we were talking about last week with like Nicki Minaj being like the voice of reason. You're like, what is happening? What is this rift in space time?
Yeah. Illuminati confirmed CERN did something. I don't know. This is a hell of a time to be alive, and it's a hell of a time to watch the end of movies. I outside of just James Bond.
Yeah.
I really feel like this is the end game for movies as we know it today. I still think this is kind of a carryover from the Cocktail Lounge, because we were talking a little bit about it there. I still think there will be some people that want to watch movies and want that process of like going to a theater, but because they've made so many bad movies over the past 3 or 4 years, and it's so unreliable to even get a watchable film, and the coof and everything else, I don't know that the movie industry is going to be here in 10 years, like at all.
I don't either. It's a really interesting thing. It does seem like an industry that's collapsing. Like, I don't think they realize. I still don't think they realize that they can be replaced. Like, I think that's kind of never really crossed their mind, you know? Sort of Poop is Cuber. No. Hail. I wanted to, he says, excuse me. He says, Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert are a bunch of smarmy morons who thought they were funny because an audience of drug-addled, seal-clapping drones could be trained to laugh and applaud on cue. That's not entirely true. While I agree with you, that's what it is now, and that's what it was for a while. And that definitely was part of it, was like, oh, I agree with that point. Like, they were both pretty funny. Like, Colbert as the like right wing guy, like on his show, like that was funny. Like he'd be like Nation, like he'd address everyone as the Nation. Like
he was funny.
And the self importance and stuff like that. He was good. Like before he became, before he relinquished the character, but from the Colbert Report, I really enjoyed that show.
You know what? I actually did too. I liked it better than Jon Stewart, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked that show. It was so because Jon Stewart was like a serious liberal, and he was like this fake conservative, non-conservative, or whatever the fuck he was, and that was the joke. But it was funny. It was made.
It was very.
You know
funny.
why? It was made to make people laugh. Yes, it has political tint. Yes, it was political satire, but it was at the end of the day. They wanted people to laugh so they would come back and watch the next episode.
Yeah, and my grandmother, who is like a hard conservative, and I was a pretty liberal twat back in the day, so like we would argue a fair amount, but like she hated Stewart, hated him, because a lot of his punchlines were just clapter, but like she loved Colbert, really enjoyed him, always thought he was funny. And she's a hardcore conservative, so and she takes her opinion seriously. So it's like there were, she wouldn't politely laugh at something like that.
Well, even though Colbert was making fun of conservatives, he didn't make fun of he didn't insult them. He was laughing at certain tropes.
Yeah.
I almost wish there was another Colbert around where you can kind of make, because sometimes conservatives can be too serious. Oh, the damn Dems. But like,
yeah, and like it would make fun of a guy like Glenn Beck, who was just kind of like a clown. And I look, I definitely think conservative political ideology is maligned, and I think there's a lot of wisdom in it. Not all of it. I don't agree with all of it, but some of it I think is pretty smart.
I do too.
But like, I can't really listen to a conservative pundit. Like, it's like they're kind of like the liberal pundits. It's like they're too uncompromising. Where it's like you're just like, all right. I mean, no matter what, you're gonna spin it so that the conservative point of view is correct. So it's kind of like I can't really
trust you.
Take your like I don't really want to. You're never wrong. Like Candace Owens is never wrong, and it's just like, all right, well, that's not interesting.
Yeah.
You know, it's like then you're kind of an autocrat. Like you know what I mean? You're kind of like, I have to just, I don't know. And that alienates me as much as anything. So it's like, there is something to poke fun at there. And I think Colbert fucking nailed it. And he would, yeah, they're pretty gay. Yeah. And he would like, celebrate himself. Like whenever he got like an award or he had like the Americone Dream ice cream, like he was over the top with how much he was like happy about it. But cause you liked him, you were kind of rooting for him. I would love to trash Colbert. I would love to, but I did happen to enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah. First off, am I here? Because only God knows. What did I do to slander Red Shirt?
I personally find slander to be insulting. I don't know.
Slander Red Shirt. I love you, Red Shirt. I don't know how I slandered you.
I don't either. Well,
but no,
if you feel slandered, I blame Vigilante.
Unless that's what he's talking about as far as the modern media. Maybe that's what he means. Like how modern
possibly
they do slander conservatives. But like, yeah, I miss having that perspective where there was not this hardcore political slant of like, Colbert bought you and your you said your grandma.
Yes.
Who loved, brought you guys together, despite your political differences, and like people could exist despite political differences. Where now I don't feel like people can. I think that's like if somebody, and even for me, sometimes I hear something, and if it's too woke, too left, I'm like, I'm done. Even if it's something that's not even in the political sphere.
Red Shirt, I know, man, but you get this is comedy. Like, also remember, like, this was in the 2000s. This was the Bush administration. Like, say whatever you want about the conservatives. We should not be in a fucking war with Iraq. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't want to make broad political statements, but that's how I feel about it. Like, in retrospect, it was a huge disaster that really looks like it was just to secure money for like Halliburton. Like that's how it looks to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not, like I said, I'm not like
that's
some bleeding heart. But you have to remember that was the time. And like we were disillusioned. Even the conservatives didn't like Bush. No one liked Bush. Bush was not a popular president. Like I think maybe in retrospect he was. But like I needed, and a lot of people needed like somewhat like a vent from like all the stuff. And like it was just different time, man. Like, I don't know. I'm not insulting anyone's ideology. It was just different.
Listen, as many times as we've pissed off the left to piss off a conservative, it's like even though I don't want to be Red Shirt, I love Red Shirt.
Yeah, I love Red Shirt. I have nothing. He's on the cocktail lounge every Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, not you, Red Shirt. Other conservatives. You're one of the good ones. No, in all seriousness, I don't know how we got into the conservative thing. I'm kind of sick of the political spectrum as it's presented. I'm sick of the political divisiveness. Everything has become political, including a fucking James Bond movie and a Star Wars movie.
Thank you. Good point.
Every other TV show, because you can't escape it. And it's become so inescapable that in and of itself is the issue. And actually, to kind of you were talking about how I don't really listen to pundits. You brought up Candace Owens. I don't you bought democracy to all those poor people in Iraq, just like we're doing in Afghanistan. I take it.
Yeah, it went perfectly. Themselves. Yeah, nailed it. Brilliant.
But like there are pundits. I like Young Ripper. That's like probably my favorite. If there's a guy who is a political pundit that I watch, I like him. I watch him. I didn't. Yeah. Tim Pool's cool. Don't really watch Tim Pool. Don't really watch. Never really been big on Ben Shapiro. Never really been big on anyone on the left. Not a Young Turks guy. You know what I mean?
I don't listen to any of
I
those
even
guys.
tried with the Hill. Couldn't do it. I don't. The reason I like Young Ripper is because he understands that, like, one, a lot of this is culture. That it is not
right
policy. It is not. It is. Hey, these people are using their cultural leverage to fuck with you. Facts be damned. And his understanding of that, instead of trying to consistently argue for the sake of arguing, and in a lot of cases, points just for the sake of arguing. That's why I like him more than most pundits, because pundits on either side, they just become like cheerleaders, and it's
and like I don't know. It's like he argues. I don't know. There is something really good about the way Ripa discusses things that I think is extremely valuable. Like, I never feel alienated from him, even if I disagree.
Yeah, that's another good point.
And that
doesn't make you, feel stupid for disagreeing with him. I mean,
or frustrated or angry or like, I can't listen to this fucking guy. Like, it's never anything like that. It's like, you can clearly tell this is his point of view on the situation. He has passion. He's educated on the topic, and this is how he's sharing it. I don't know. Like, it never alienated me, even when I disagree. I'm never like, oh, this fucking idiot. I'm like, yeah, okay, I don't think the same as you, but I like where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And also because he doesn't just talk politics. Like, he also does talk about Marvel, and he does talk about music and other stuff. So it does. I don't know. He's much more palatable than like a conservative. I mean, I guess. Yeah, I don't even remember the last time I put on like a conservative pundit. Last time I put on like Ben Shapiro. I'd listen to it every once in a while, but it's just like I don't need to be. Even if I agreed with everything you said, I wouldn't want to just hang out. Like, you know what I mean? Just listen to all my own thoughts be validated all day long. It's just like. I don't need that. I already validate my own thoughts by thinking them.
Show someone's tits, Ben Shapiro. Do something, spice it up.
God, you ever see his sister's tits? Holy shit.
I saw his sister before. Is she hot? Or am I thinking of someone else?
Like, man. Insanely stacked. Like, freakishly stacked.
Like, like she's not probably natty?
Nah, I think they're real.
Pay for?
I think they're real.
Really?
Yeah.
Now I gotta see Ben Shapiro.
There's Abigail Shapiro is her name. Oof, it's kind of crazy. You're just like, what? That's Ben Shapiro's sister? Like, she's not like gorgeous, but she is like, she's pretty fucking sexy, and her chest is crazy. Crazy.
And since a dildo will disown you if you listen to Shapiro again.
Why? He makes good points. I really like him on Rogan. And look, the thing you got to remember too, like I said, a lot of this is time and place. Like 4 years ago, whatever it was, we didn't have a lot of dissent. There wasn't like, or at least I didn't know about it. I didn't have like Gary. I didn't have, like Young Rip. I didn't have these outlets. I didn't have these people who I was like, oh, okay, interesting. Like someone who's like contrary to the narrative. You only had the narrative. And then every once in a while, these like explosions on like Rogan's podcast where this guy, Jordan Peterson, would come on there and would just contradict the entire narrative when you're just like, fuck yes. Like, it was so relieving to hear someone who wasn't just exactly saying the same thing over and over and over again. So Shapiro was one of those guys at the time where you're just like, fuck, this guy is completely breaking everything down that they are trying to do, and he's being accurate about it, and he's making good points. It's like, fuck, man. Like, I don't listen to him now, but I liked him on Rogan anyway. Does she play violin too, Pat? I think she was I think she was a concert pianist or something like that. Opera singer, maybe? Something like that. She had like, I forgot who she was. There was something, something like classical about her. Oof, yeah, definitely. Take a look. Take a look. And I guess she's like a conservative, like she speaks conservatively too as well, but she's not, she's no Ben Shapiro. Like she doesn't, that's not like her whole thing, I don't think. Shapiro ain't dissent. He's controlled opposition. I don't know. Who's he controlled by? Isn't he like incredibly independent?
Globalist,
I mean,
obviously.
I guess, but like he's got the Daily Wire's his company, and he's bringing on Gina Carano. You know what I mean? To like make a movie with her. I don't know. I mean, I get maybe there's something that I don't, but he just seems like a guy who has just kind of has these beliefs. Maybe you're right. I don't know.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, right.
Jesus Christ! Really?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. It's they got him. They got Vigilante again. Let's see. Oh, I can hear you back. You back?
Okay, yeah. I'm looking at Abby, and my hands. You can't see my hands, but they're available. But Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty see what you mean, because she has such a small body. Mm-hmm. For them to be that big looks unnatural. Mm-hmm. I did know a girl who was built similar, like one other girl.
Yeah, it happens every once in a while. Just end up with these freakish kind of characteristics. Yeah, we're at an hour and 35, and we usually. Gina Carano is of no importance outside this fandom, says Sentient Dildo.
That's something I do wonder, but I don't know how that's necessarily relevant. I think Matt's point, Dildo, was that hey, he's doing things with individuals who aren't necessarily a part of the mainstream or a part of the establishment. But I
disagree with that. I disagree that she's of no importance. I don't think that that's accurate, because she is incredibly important in the sense that she was in the belly of the beast. She was in Disney and refused to go along with what she was supposed to go along with. All she had to do was comply. Was put her stupid fucking pronouns in her bio, not make a big deal about anything, keep cashing checks as Cara Dune. That's all she had to do, and she wouldn't, because she's based, because she has opinions that are just contradictory to this narrative, and she refused to go along with it. I don't think that doesn't matter, man. I think that's fucking important. She's a sacrificial lamb, man. She fucking, she's a martyr, essentially. Like, she lost her career. She was in Deadpool. And she's in this huge, like the only property of Star Wars that anyone actually enjoys. And she gave that all up because she's got conviction. That's not insignificant, dude.
Yeah, sorry about the delay. Hopefully I'm back.
You're back.
But no, not only that, they were going to do multiple shows with her. If you rewatch season 2, all it was a bunch of spinoffs for different shows. And then they announced one of them, which was Rangers of the New Republic. And I don't think that show is happening anymore. So they, she not only did they fuck up their own franchise, but like she was willing to lose more future work in Star Wars for her own principles. And there is something to be championed about that. But like,
yeah, Dildo's response.
This is a fair counterpoint.
Yeah. I'm not saying she's brave, but you hear people talk about her outside channels you watch. I mean, yeah, that's fair, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, but now she's like essentially irrelevant because she's been removed from the mainstream. So why would people talk about her unless they're the kind of people who give a shit about resisting this? So those are the people that I listen to. So you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Because the thing is, I don't think she's done. I don't think she's going anywhere. Like, I think she'll be back. No matter what with this movie, unless it's like a turd. Oh my God, I forgot all about the Karen movie. That just came back to me.
I did forget about it.
Oh my God. I
forgot about it too.
Yeah. But like, unless unless it's like a turd, like it looks like a turd, like the Karen movie, we're just like, okay, no one's ever going to watch this. It's like, I don't know, man. We'll see. I mean, if there is an alternative to Hollywood, like this is going to be the first like seed, you know what I mean? The first experiment is going to be Daily Wire and Gina Carano's movie. Like that'll be the first real test to see if there's a way you can do this by creating it essentially in opposition to an entire industry. I don't know. We'll see. She's very important inside this fandom. Yeah, I mean, but that's.
I think it'll be a.
But that doesn't. It's not like it's not only because you know what I mean. I'm trying to say like just because we value her does not mean her integrity just is broader. You know what I mean? It's not simply because we like her. It's like we like her because her values are kind of transcendently authentic. And that, like, matters. So we're the ones championing her, but that doesn't mean it will be the end of her journey.
I think it depends on what happens with this movie and other movies that she does. I remember the premise of the first one they're doing. I'm going to check it out, but I'll be lying if I was saying that I'm optimistic. And I understand. Sometimes I wonder.
I think it's going to be good, but I want it to be.
Yeah. I've wondered, like, man, how big is she really? I've thought that, and then I've wondered aloud, man, if we didn't agree with her, she got canceled silently, and we didn't know what her beliefs were, would she even be as popular to us as she is? So I have my
absolutely
my
not
about Gina Carano too. Yeah, I don't think she would.
And people kind of trashed her. Actually, sort of dunked on her, like in the original like Mandalorian thing, because she's not a terrific actress. She's not like amazing.
No, she's not. But after seeing Mortal Kombat, I realized there are levels to this. So, like, she's better than everyone there.
There are levels to this, and also it's a craft that you get good at the more you do it. Like, Bill Burr was a pretty shitty actor when he started, and now he's really good. I've seen Jim Norton evolve. I mean, it's a lot of people too, like, especially when you're famous, like Gina Carano, like, for being an MMA fighter, relatively famous, you just get, like, you go from never having acted to being in a movie. Like, that's a huge, you know what I mean? That's like never singing and then going and doing, like, Madison Square Garden. It's like, that's kind of, you know what I mean? It's a big stage for your first foray into this art form. It takes time to develop these skills, and unfortunately, you're working them out in front of everybody. But I mean, she's mostly there because she's physical and pretty fucking hot.
Yeah, and pretty. If they got this super powerful woman agenda, she's one of the few women that can pull it off believably. Like the fight scenes in The Mandalorian that she's in are pretty good. She does bring something to them. So.
Yeah, she does. You believe it.
Positives and negatives.
Yeah, and Senshin Dildo's final thing, he said, I'm not questioning her integrity at all. I like her. I think, like, it's more, I guess more just to my final point, is like, I don't think, like, I think she could represent something more impactful in the future. We'll see. Like I said, I have no idea what this new movie is going to be, if it's going to be even watchable. But, like, we are already a very loyal and loving group of fans. Like, that is a good foundation to build on. And if this does become good, it could be, I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to overstate it like she's our fucking savior, but
yeah. And
we'll see. We'll see.
I guess kind of end off this point. I think there's, mentioned Young Ripper. He might be impactful with his guys' comic verse coming up. There's people who can come up with things, come up with new properties. I do think the independent movie thing is a possibility and more realistic than more people give it credit for. And there's a lot of factors. Hopefully, if the first movie doesn't work, maybe they get, do another one. And because I don't really think this would have been the first movie I would have put Gina Carano in personally. I get not having a budget, but that's
what are you? Which one are you specifically
whatever
talking
detective? About? She's like a trucker thing. That's like
what is that? I don't
the
know
movie that they pitched. Did you? The Ben Shapiro pitched for. I don't know if they pitched it, but they announced it.
This is the first I'm hearing.
Months ago, or whatever it was.
Really? I didn't know
Gina
that they
Carano's
let out.
Movie?
Yeah, I didn't know they let out the.
Yeah, they let out the premise.
Really?
Yeah. I forgot about it.
That seems like a stupid thing to do. That seems pretty dumb. I thought
it was just a basic premise. It wasn't like the whole thing, but it was just like I guess she's like a cop investigating a murder. It's based off some book series, I believe.
Where'd you hear that?
Chat, please help me out so I don't sound even crazier.
No, I mean,
I'm just
curious.
Let me see if I can find it.
This is like the first. I didn't know. Like, that seems like a risky thing to do, is to kind of like, without a trailer, without even a script. Oh, they're shooting the movie now. Oh, really? That seems a little fast.
It's being shot now, and I think it's supposed to come out. They announced it August 12th. I'm checking the bounty thing.
That seems
So
way too
they
fast.
announced it on August 12th. I thought you knew
When
about
she
it.
get
Yeah,
fired,
she'll be. She got fired
not even
this
a year
year.
ago.
It was
Yeah.
January. It was January this year, but I mean, still this year.
That's
It's based off a book
fucking
called
fast.
White Knuckle.
White Knuckle.
Yep.
That's pretty fast, dude. Like,
yep.
for her, like, it takes kind of a while to write a good screenplay. I don't know if this is enough time to have, like, written that screenplay and then developed, like, pre-production and really put the work in that it needs to be. I don't know. Ooh. Yeah, you're right. Oh,
Am I still here? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, you're right. It sounds kind of stupid.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
When
about
I
a
saw
serial
that,
killer?
I wasn't too positive.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have been my plan. If you're, I get you're not gonna have the biggest budget, but I would have done like a 70-minute action film.
I would
as little plot as possible.
That's not a bad idea, but that's also pretty disposable and could just be forgettable as shit. You have to have some kind of. I would want to see like The Wrestler, but MMA fighting women. And I think they've already made that, but like, like that. I'd like to see her just play what she knows. If she's gonna lead a major a film, she should just play what she knows. Don't stretch it, because you don't want this to be a joke.
That would have been
this
even
is
simpler.
Yeah, if this is a joke, you're gonna fucking blow it.
Yeah.
It'll be dead on arrival. Pop Culture Republic says maybe they had a screenplay ready to go. Maybe. How could she have known? I mean, maybe she's been developing this project privately. I mean, that's possible. But that is really fast.
It's been
that's
8 months.
Quick. Dude, but
my guess.
But pre-production alone, like it's like to even if this, like to write the script and make. All right, I don't know. You're also adapting a book. That's extra work. I don't know. It seems fast to me. That seems fast.
Okay, if I'm back, I'll tell you what I think happened. I think they already had this movie down the pike, and then when it happened, they said, "Oh, we'll put her in it."
I mean, I guess. Who though? What, the Daily Wire?
This fucking thing.
You think like the Daily Wire had this ready to go?
I'm about to break my iPad. Or I don't know about ready to go. That may be too much of a stretch.
But development.
They were already greasing the wheels for this. In development, yeah. This was already in development. Aside from her issues, and then when the stars aligned, I said, "Oh, we'll put her in it." That's my thought.
Yeah, I mean, it's written by
the
Eric
first
Red.
film they did.
Yeesh.
Oh. The first film, the Run, Hide, Fight thing, just looked stupid too. I mean, it might have been good, but it's like that. I wouldn't do this as a movie.
Oh wow, this guy's IMDb is sad.
The
guy who wrote it, I guess he wrote a movie called The Hitcher, which I've seen is pretty like B movie-ish. It stars Rutger Hauer as this kind of like, serial killing or like a murdering hitchhiker. Like, it's fine. I saw it on a sick day when I was in high school. It's not very good. And then he wrote a bunch of movies I've never heard of. Near Dark, Cohen and Tate. I guess Near Dark's got a 7.0 on IMDb, so maybe that's something. I'd never heard. I guess. Oh, Bill Paxton's in it. Lance Henriksen. That's okay. I mean, maybe that was just a horror movie I missed. But basically, he then did almost nothing, just like, and then some TV movies. Then Hitcher 2, I've Been Waiting. And then like a movie called 100 Feet. Like he very long spans of him doing absolutely nothing. It's like it kind of seems like they picked him up off the scrap pile.
Well, that sounds promising for someone's first movie to try to revolutionize the film industry.
Yeah, man, like that
sounds absolutely great.
That's not good at all. White Knuckle. And White Knuckle, this looks bad. It's about a serial killing trucker, and she's gonna fight him. Oh boy, this is gonna be a fucking joke.
Yeah, I'm not positive on this, and it would not have been my choice for a movie. But I mean,
this seems very misguided.
It seems incredibly misguided, I don't know, because movies are expensive to make, and even low budget movies are incredibly expensive. I was listening to a channel. Shout out to Shady J. He has a channel called The Game Chasers. They've been on YouTube forever, and they're making a movie. And they did a GoFundMe, and the guy he said he sold a bunch of his games. He did all this stuff they're trying to get this, and a lot of people aren't getting paid. And I think they put $150,000 in, and he said, "Man, this is like a miracle that we able to do this, because like it really should cost us $1 million minimum."
Yep. Yeah. Well, my buddy Jared.
Yeah.
Like he said, like the amount of money it cost him to make his movie was I don't know, it was a lot. It was like $25,000 or something like that, I think, is how much he put into it. But he said if he did it union costs, it would have cost like $1 million or something.
Wow.
Like it was some like humongous increase to how much they actually spent on it, because it was like that's just how much all this stuff costs, and like renting trucks and getting union truck drivers and everything. It's just so expensive to make a movie.
Yeah. Catering. That's something that you don't think about. You got to feed all these people for like a few weeks.
And several times a day.
That's expensive. Several times a day, yeah. For the movie I was talking about, he said he spent like $20,000 in catering. And I'm like, well,
they're 12-hour days. You get the whole crew. Everyone's got to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's so much to make a movie. Until you've been on a movie set, you can't believe how many fucking people are on a movie set. It's like a small village. And like, there's cheap ways to do it. Obviously, there's ways around it, especially if you know what you're doing. But like, this has to work. And so I've been I'm clicking through it. Okay, so apparently some of my criticisms of this guy were a little misguided, because he's been an author for a while. He's been a novelist.
Okay.
So he switched mediums.
So that's positive.
Yeah, and I'm on Goodreads. So this guy's name is Eric Red, and I guess this is his own book that he's adapting. And now these are just people's books, like people's reviews. But I guess it's got basically a 4.0 out of 53 ratings as a book. So he looks like his Goodreads numbers are pretty good. He's got a bunch of books up, so he's not quite out of the game as much as I thought. But it's just, I don't know. White Knuckle just doesn't sound like an interesting story. There's a killer on the road. He's a big rig truck driver who goes by the CB handle White Knuckle, and he's Jack the Ripper on 18 wheels. Ugh. For 30 years, he has murdered it. You know what this might be, though? And this is true, and I remember that terrible movie we watched, the thing that I did, Only Go There at Night. Oh, well, the thing is with horror movies, they almost always have a built-in audience. Like the horror crowd, audiences are not very discriminating, but they're extremely ravenous. Like they want more and more and more. That's why there's so many different, why there's so many shitty sequels to horror movies, and why you're like, who makes this? Who buys this? Chainsaw killers from space or whatever. And people enjoy. Oh, hi everybody. People enjoy it. So maybe I think what they're going for is that if they go for the horror movie angle, it'll almost guaranteed to make money because there's such a big market for that. Mm-hmm. So it's a low risk in that sense. It's like that's actually, if that's the angle they're going for, that's actually pretty smart. Yeah, Ascension Dildo says horror always makes money.
Yeah, because it's fairly cheap to make, and
yeah.
It always gets an audience.
Yeah. So for 30 years, he has murdered hundreds of women in unimaginable ways, imprisoning them in secret compartment in his truck, abducting them in one state, and dumping their dead bodies across the country. Dedicated FBI agent Sharon Ornsby. That's not like a great name, Sharon Ornsby. It's kind of doesn't really roll off the tongue. Sharon Ornsby. What? That's weird. Okay, anyway. Is on a mission to hunt down and stop White Knuckle. She goes undercover as a truck driver with a helpful long hauler named Rudy in a cross-country pursuit that will ultimately bring her face-to-face with White Knuckle in a pedal-to-the-metal high-octane climax on a highway to hell. All right. But like I said, it might just be a financial slam dunk. So maybe that's why they're doing it. They're like, cars make money. We have to have a couple wins under our belt. We can't just burn piles of money because we hate Hollywood.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
And you know what? To your point, you do have to do more acting to get better. So maybe it's a good thing.
You do. You have, like anything else, any other skill, craft, you have to just do it more before it's good. Like, very few people are born geniuses. Like, there's like Dakota Fanning, you know, some of those kid actors who are just like shockingly talented, like somehow have these empathy and instincts. Like, how do you know how to do that? But for the most part, it takes years to get good at a craft like that. And, you know, I don't fault that. I used to be much more critical of actors, but I'm not. It's a hard thing to do. So much of it's not in your control. So much of it's editing and directing. It's a lot of it is, you know, you're kind of more of a prop than anything.
Yeesh,
it's not a very empowering position. I didn't find.
Well, maybe that's why all these actors are so crazy. They're so disempowered. That's why they're so. We need to empower people because they're projecting.
I mean, I was listening to Rogan say that. He's like, if you weren't crazy before you started being an actor, you're going to be after a while, just because of how unnatural the process is, how little of it's out of your control, how stressful it is, how much you're putting yourself out there, how little control you have. And then, like, you know, like you just need to shake that off. Like, you know, you have to go, okay, let's go get drunk. You know what I mean? Like, you just have like a contrast to just that crazy life. And I mean, a lot of actors I know are like, they're just, you know, very unhappy, very desperate, you know, very unfulfilled because of just how hard their life is, how difficult it is.
Maybe it's a good thing you didn't go to Romania. All jokes aside.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know. Can't make those decisions now.
Yeah.
Already made them.
All right, man. Hey, the decisions you make you the man you are. And the decision to stream on my iPad, it was a moderate one. The only one I could have done in short notice, but I wouldn't want to do it again because I've had more technical issues in this stream than any other stream I've ever done. So thank you for putting up with me, Matt and chat.
I mean, thanks, chat. Hell, chat. Good to see you guys. Thanks for your contributions. When I couldn't talk to Vig, it was easy to talk to you. So much appreciated. Vig, if someone offers you a role, someone offers you a role in a horror film, don't take it.
5 minutes of work because I'm not going to be there that long. One scene.
Is this what's it called? Is this like a reference to Culture Casino? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I was just talking about just the fact that like black people dying.
Oh, because you're
quick. So if I'm in a horror movie, it ain't gonna be that long. It's gonna be 1 day of work. So I'm cool with it. 1 day of work max. But otherwise, because this has been a nightmare of a stream, and I don't know how you're still patient, Matt. I don't know how you, because I've been ready to blow up my whole studio. But I think I won't take any more chances. I think we should probably end. Unless there's something else that you wanted to talk about, or any thoughts?
No, I mean, I kind of want to talk about the Star Wars thing, but I feel like that's been covered by literally everybody.
We did not talk about that. Real quick, we got, it was Marsha Lucas, George Lucas's ex-wife and former editor of the first one, A New Hope. Did she edit any of the other ones?
I have no fucking clue. This is the first I've ever heard of this person. I guess there's like some narrative on the internet that she You
probably heard me say fuck.
I did. I guess there's like some narrative on the internet that she saved Star Wars. I don't know. It looks like she was the credited film editor for A New Hope. The uncredited She's uncredited for Empire and edited, and also has edited Jedi. So, I mean, she's obviously pretty established. She did American Graffiti. She did Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, which is a Scorsese film. But that's fucking it. After Jedi, she just stopped. That's pretty wild. Shows she was a supervising film editor for Taxi Driver. Holy shit. That's pretty impressive credit right there. Yeah. So and like there's like I guess like there's this sort of narrative going around that she saved A New Hope. I don't know. Like I have no idea, but apparently it was kind of unwatchable without Lucas. I don't know. But that's like the narrative.
That's the myth.
But I guess she just put out a book. And it says Star Wars editor Marcia Lucas decimates Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams over sequel trilogy. She worked in the original Star. Just listed off her credits. She said Lucas, who won an Oscar for Best Film Editing for the original Star Wars film back in 1977, made her thoughts about Disney's sequel trilogy quite clear in a recently published book titled Howard Kazanian, A Producer's Life, by recently passed away Star Wars author J.W. Rinsler. In the book, as reported by YouTuber Open Airlock Policy, Lucas described the sequel trilogy storylines as, quote, terrible. Nice. Lucas stated, I like Kathleen. I always liked her, but she was full of beans. Ooh, easy with the curse words there, Marcia. She was really smart and really bright, really wonderful woman, and I liked her husband, Frank. I liked them a lot. However, she added, now that she's running Lucasfilm and making movies, it seems to me that Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams don't have a clue about Star Wars. They don't get it. Wow. And we have, of course, that fucking character-ruining moment. She specifically pointed out to the killing of Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, and J.J. Abrams is writing these stories. When I saw that movie where they kill Han Solo, I was furious. I was furious when they killed Han Solo. Absolutely, positively, there was no rhyme or reason to it. Fucking get him, Marcia. Get him.
Yeah.
That is good shit right there.
It's awesome to see that somebody, I mean, this is the obvious take, but so few people would have this take. Fucking critics couldn't even have this take because they were paid off.
Yeah, and I was saying, especially someone so close to it. Right? Like someone who's like the editor of the original trilogy. Like you heard Lucas say something, like George say some things here and there, but no one close to it has really smashed this like god awful sequel trilogy. This is the first person who is like really involved intimately with Star Wars who's like, fuck the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
That's gangster.
She called it terrible. And
that's fucking gangster.
Yeah, thank you. It is. It definitely is.
Yeah. That's huge. That's a big goddamn deal, dude. No, because it's, you get like Disney, rumors and shit.
Well, one of the reasons it became such a big deal is for years and years, Disney somehow made all Hollywood and all of the media and everyone involved could never say that The Last Jedi or any part of the sequel trilogy was bad in any way. They like,
or even I'm sorry you didn't like it.
Yeah, not even that. The idea that somebody didn't like any of these Star Wars movies was blasphemy. It was Hollywood blasphemy.
It really was.
And it's
oh, lost him again.
Star Wars lore, Star Wars as a property. Oh no, I'm rambling to nobody. I'm sitting there talking.
Well, I just heard you. I caught the end of it. We can hear you now. Okay. Don't say anything racist.
White women are a plague.
Lucas added, I thought you don't get the Jedi story. You don't get the magic of Star Wars. You're getting rid of Han Solo. As for Luke, she noted, and then at the end of the last one, The Last Jedi, they have Luke disintegrate. They killed Han Solo. They killed Luke Skywalker. They don't have Princess Leia anymore. And they're spitting out movies every year. Marcia Lucas would take issue with Kennedy's attempt to appeal to women with the introduction of Rey, and they think it's important to appeal to women's audience, so now their main character is female, who's supposed to have Jedi powers, but we don't know how she got Jedi powers or who she is. It sucks. The storylines are terrible. Just terrible. Awful. Oh, my God. Marcia Lucas for the fucking win.
Yeah, and Marsha Lucas did not Epstein herself.
Dude, this is fucking baller. This is the greatest.
Fuck me. Of course. You didn't fuck me.
Just no uncertain terms. It sucks, she says. That's not like up to interpretation. There's no subtlety. There's no like flowery language kind of dancing around the fact that it wasn't great. She's like, it fucking blows. You guys are terrible at making these movies. Oh, Lucas then added, you can quote me. J.J. Abrams, Kathy Kennedy, talk to me. Fucking in your face. That's awesome, man.
Jesus. That was actually brutal, to be fair. Because I heard it, but listening back, it's a very brutal takedown. Like,
yeah.
Not just for Hollywood. Even I like her husband. I'm like, oh, man, you can tell she's about to rip into her after that. Because that's just, like, set up. Like, oh, she's nice. She's full of beans. She's a nice girl. But
yeah, it's the jab before the overhand right. Yeah.
Yeah.
God,
really refreshing to see. Also, she's a woman, so I'm not sure if they're going to go internalize misogyny or what. Maybe they'll call her alt-right Yahtzee, just like everyone else.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying. Just kind of
done. I'm done.
All right. Yeah, we'll call it. We'll call it.
Yeah, because my fucking phone, or not my phone, my iPad is just shitting in bed, and everything's shitting in bed. And I sincerely thank everybody for this who watched this stream. This has been not a good episode, and I apologize about that. It's completely on me. And
well, thanks for bearing with us.
Shit, so.
I mean, hail the chat. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, despite the fact that it's kind of wonky. Max 15, Pop Culture Republic, sent you Dildo. The Islington Girl, hail. And she made sandwiches. Thank you, Islington Girl.
Hey,
Michael Hickson.
Thank you for the sandwiches.
We got sandwiches. So thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Really appreciate it. Red Shirt, sorry we pissed you off. He did leave after that, so I hope that I didn't insult him too deeply. But, you know, he can come back on the Cocktail Lounge this Friday and defend himself and attack me if he wants.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate all your patience.
Yeah. Future episodes will be better. So please join on Matt's channel next week.
Hail. Yeah. We got to get some of those guests we were talking about, too. Oh, we lost you again. Oh, okay. Red Shirt's still here. Okay, good. Red Shirt's still here.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Oh, Red Shirt is here. Thank goodness.
Okay, good. I didn't want to insult Red Shirt.
And I'm still here for now. But yeah. We love Red Shirt. We love you all. You are all awesome. Thank you for putting up the stream. If you like the video, please like the video. If you so obliged to share, subscribe, please do that. And please sub to Matt if you want to see this episode next week, which I know all of you guys know. So, all right. I'll hit the outro. Hopefully it'll play. And see you guys later.
Deuces.
Peace.